I call upon the spirit of the owl, messenger of wisdom. Welcome to the Temple of the Owl. Merry me. I am your host, Matt Sal, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. This is episode 13. We're talking about the Great Alexandrian Library. Here at the temple, located deep in the forests of Northern California, where we talk about magic and spirituality on all levels, but it's through the perspective of a modern witch. As always, these are just ideas, just to give you guys a way to live a magic life and make you think about things differently. Take the information and do what you will with it. Remember, witchcraft is a deeply personal religion that is unique to each individual, so feel free to change or adapt anything to work with you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support. A special thank you to those listening on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Visit troubledminds.org for all the information, and I'm personally inviting you to be a part of some of those great conversations with my friend Michael Strange. And also visit troubledminds.org/friends and support all of my amazing friends collaborating on this radio station. Follow Rohan of the Exiled Minds podcast. And I want to thank both those gentlemen for producing this show. I like to start the show with what I call the MOD, or the message of the day. And it's a quote that I find that helps me explain the show topic. And today's quote is, "But neither you nor any other barbarian has the right to destroy one human thought." And that's from Carl Sagan of the Cosmos. And I feel that because when I think of the Great Alexandrian Library, I start to get a little sad because we don't know what knowledge was lost there. And this topic is very deep in my heart. And people think, oh, Matt, it's just a library. No, it was not just a library. It was a whole city. So I want you to imagine the city you live in, but every building, every house is a library. That's how big this place was. Forgive me if I struggle to pronounce some of the words. Some of the names are kind of hard to pronounce. But let's talk about this amazing feat in history. The Great Alexandrian Library was one of the most famous and influential libraries of the ancient world. It is located in Alexandria, a major city in Egypt. It served as a center of learning, scholarship, and research. It was part of a larger research institution called the Mausoleum, which is dedicated to the Muses, who were the 9 goddesses of the arts in Greek mythology. Here are some key points about the Great Library of Alexandria. The library was likely founded during the reign of Ptolemy II in the 3rd century BCE. It was part of a broader museum, an institution dedicated to the arts and sciences. The Great Alexandrian Library was enormous and housed countless scrolls and texts from the ancient world. Estimates of the number of scrolls vary widely, but some sources suggest it may have contained hundreds of thousands of documents. The library was known for its comprehensive collection of texts and various fields including mathematics, science, philosophy, literature, and history. The scholars and researchers from around the Mediterranean region came to the library to study and contribute to its holdings. The library attracted many renowned scholars and thinkers, including Archimedes, Eratosthenes, and Herophilus. These intellectuals made significant contributions to their respective fields of study. Eratosthenes, for example, calculated the Earth's circumference with remarkable accuracy while serving as the chief librarian at Alexandria. His work is just one example of the library's profound impact on scientific knowledge. The library faced multiple instances of damage and destruction over the centuries, including during Julius Caesar's siege of Alexandria in 48 BCE. The library may have suffered further damage during the later Roman period and subsequent conflicts. The exact circumstances of the library's ultimate demise are still a subject to scholarly debate. It is unclear whether it was intentionally destroyed, gradually fell into disrepair, or met a more complex fate. While the Great Library of Alexandria is often associated with the loss of ancient knowledge, it is important to note that the destruction of knowledge was not solely due to the library's demise. Copies of many works stored there were preserved in other locations. The burning of the library is a symbol of the broader loss of ancient knowledge during the tumultuous centuries that followed. The Great Library of Alexandria holds a place of immense historical significance as a center of scholarship and learning in the ancient world. Its legacy endures, and it remains the symbol of importance of preserving and advancing human knowledge. The scholars at the Great Library of Alexandria studied a wide range of subjects and fields of knowledge. This remarkable institution was known for its comprehensive collection of texts and attracted scholars from various paths of the ancient world. Here are some of the subjects and areas of study that were pursued at the Great Library. The library collected and preserved numerous literary works from both Greek and other cultures. This included epic poems, dramas, and prose works from writers like Homer, Socrates, and many others. Scholars at the library made significant contributions to the fields of mathematics, physics, astronomy, and medicine. For example, Euclid, known as the father of geometry, conducted important work on geometry at the library. Philosophical works of various scholars of thought, including those of Plato and Aristotle, were studied at the library. Philosophers and scholars used the library as a hub for psychological discourse and debate. The library collected historical records, manuscripts, and accounts of past events, contributing to the preservation of historical knowledge. It was a valuable resource for historians of the time. The geographical knowledge, including maps and accounts of explorations, was studied and expanded upon at the library. Eratosthenes was a chief librarian of one point, made significant contributions to the field of geography. Studies of plants and animals were conducted at the library, contributing to the understanding of the natural world. Scholars like Theophrastus, often referred to as the father of botany, conducted research there. Medical texts, anatomy studies, and knowledge of herbs and treatments were part of the library's holdings. Herophilius, an ancient physician and anatomist, worked there. Legal and political texts and treaties from various cultures were studied at the library. Scholars delved into the legal systems and political theories of the ancient world. Texts related to various religions and mythologies were stored and studied, including those of the ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and others. Comparative studies of religious beliefs were conducted. The library was a center for linguistic study, including the translation of texts from different languages into Greek. It contributed to develop the field of linguistics. Scholars at the library explored engineering principles and the development of inventions, many of which had practical applications. The Great Library of Alexandria was a hub of intellectual activity, where scholars were encouraged to pursue knowledge in a wide array of subjects. It was a symbol of the ancient world's commitment to scholarship and learning, and its legacy continues to influence modern education and the preservation of knowledge. The Great Library of Alexandria was not only a center of scholarship and learning, but also a place where many historical and interesting events took place. Here are some additional facts and notable events associated with the library. Archimedes, one of the most brilliant mathematicians and engineers of antiquity, was believed to have conducted experiments and developed many of his famous machines and mathematical principles in Alexandria. His work on levers, pulleys, and the measurement of geometric shapes significantly influenced engineering and science. During the siege of Alexandria in 48 BCE, which was part of a larger conflict between Julius Caesar and the forces of Ptolemy VIII, parts of Alexandria, including the harbors and palaces, were set on fire. The library is believed to have suffered damage during this time, although the extent of the damage remains a matter of debate among historians. Hipparchus, a prominent scholar, mathematician, and philosopher, lived and taught in Alexandria during the 4th and 5th centuries CE. She is one of the most famous female scholars of the ancient world. Tragically, she was murdered by a mob in 415 CE, a victim of political and religious unrest. The The Seraphim, a temple of the museum complex in Alexandria, housed a large portion of the library's collections. The Seraphim was also the center for physiological and religious debates, and contained valuable scrolls and texts. While the circumstances surrounding the library's ultimate destruction remain unclear, it is known that the library faced various challenges over the centuries. Whether due to conflicts, neglect, or natural disasters, the library's collection gradually diminished. The transition from papyrus scrolls to codices also played a role in the decline of ancient libraries like Alexandria. The Great Library of Alexandria was known for its inclusivity, including scholars from various cultural backgrounds and belief systems. It was a melting pot of knowledge and ideas from different regions in the ancient world. The library played a crucial role in the translation of texts from different languages into Greek. This endeavor allowed the preservation and dissemination of knowledge across cultural and linguistic boundaries. The Great Alexandrian Library holds a place of immense historical significance as a symbol of knowledge, scholarship, and the pursuit of learning. While the exact circumstances of its decline and destruction remain subject to debate, the legacy of the library continues to inspire the preservation and dissemination of knowledge to this day. No one knows what happened, and we can only speculate. We may never know what really happened to the Library of Alexandria, but some speculate that its contents were moved to under the Vatican in a secret underground chamber. Another theory is that the library was moved to another realm due to human greed and the using the knowledge wrong from the library. Some people call this realm the Akashic Records, a place where all knowledge exists, and we all have some way of accessing it, but we don't know how. Maybe in dreams or some other way of getting there. One of my favorite stories is the story that comes from the book Ancient Healing Techniques by Douglas DeLong. And it's a story from when a remote viewer asked to view the fall of the library. And this is just a story, guys. It's not 100% true. It's just, like I said, it's something that a remote viewer had witnessed. The two factions, Christian and pagan, were already at each other's throats. A murderous mob fled the streets of Alexandria. Hypatia, the daughter of Theon, a famous astronomer and mathematician. She studied the mystery schools of Egypt, as well as philosophy, astrology, and astronomy. She left her study to go protect the library, but she was stopped by the mob. They hit her with rocks and they spat on her. They dragged her by the hair across the square and pulled her apart. Afterwards, they ran through the city, burning and looting the priceless, irreplaceable books and scrolls. They started a fire and threw the scrolls in. In a single event, thousands of books containing ancient knowledge was destroyed. And that includes the papyrus paper from Egypt that is irreplaceable. And I kind of want to know what knowledge was on those ancient scrolls that we will never be able to have access to because they were destroyed. But, I tell that story. I don't tell that story to make you feel bad. It is a tragic story, and I don't want it to make you feel bad or sad. I tell it because I don't want anything like this to happen again. I feel it's important that we try to save and preserve our knowledge the best we can. And we have these places like Wikipedia and the internet constantly changing things and taking things down and removing them or banning them because the history was not their narrative, not what they want us to know. They want us to know only one story of history, and it's not like that. It's not true. There's many different stories in history, and I believe we should have access to that knowledge, no matter if it's good or bad, or if it doesn't, it's not the way that what they want us to know. So I feel that preserving knowledge and keeping it for future generations to learn from history, I feel that is really what I'm trying to get at about this episode, and kind of why the library is so important to me. In conclusion, the Great Alexandrian Library, it was an awesome place, and it's a deep part of our history that I think we should study more and talk about it as we try to understand the universe that we live in. I am Matt's Owl. Thank you guys for listening to the Temple of the Owl, and special thank you if you're listening on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. Have a good night, guys. Blessed be.